Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're boarding passengers seated in zones E and F at this time. Your zone number...
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Rhea. I am your host, and I'm very pleased to welcome back, after a few weeks' absence, Lee Harris, my co-host. How are you, Lee?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be on the same time zone almost. Not the 12, 13-hour difference this time, only the one. So it's light outside, it's bright, and it's a Monday morning, which is great.
Yeah, and on top of that, you've got great internet, so that's a plus too.
Yeah, I have. Who knew? Who knew you'd get better internet in the UK than you would in a kiwi orchard in New Zealand?
For anybody out there wondering why there has been a 3-week absence of Lee Harris, he has done a great big move from New Zealand back to the UK. So he is now on our shores and able to actually give us the travel updates every Monday morning, as opposed to every Monday night, his time, Monday morning, our time.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. No, it's great to be back, actually. It's great to catch up with family and friends. And yeah, looking forward to carrying on with YIR on a Monday morning.
Nice one. Let's get to it. It wouldn't be a summer travel show without a whole pile of strike action. What's going on?
Yeah, we've had the 3-week absence, and as you can imagine, there has been lots of strike action announced. So we'll do a quick overview of what's happening in Europe because it's the mid-season. So first of all, at Gatwick Airport, workers at Gatwick Airport will walk out later this month in a dispute over pay. Now, around 300 security and passenger services staff will strike from the 12th to the 14th of July and the 18th to the 21st of July. It does mean that delays in baggage screening and will affect passengers who also need special assistance. Further action could also take place over the busy summer holidays if the dispute is not settled. Scottish airports have also been affected. Union members at Glasgow and Aberdeen airports have voted overwhelmingly in favour of strike action. Although dates are yet to be announced, it could hit security processing at the Scottish airports from mid-July, also unless disputes over pay are resolved. Now we can move across to Turkey, where major flight delays have hit Turkey's Antalya Airport. Air traffic controllers walk out over pay and working conditions. The work to rule strike action is impacting around 50% of arrivals and departures at this moment and is expected to continue until at least the 14th of July. And finally, in the Netherlands, public transport strike has been announced in the Netherlands' biggest cities on the 12th of September, with more walkouts possible. It comes ahead of the Cabinet's budget proposal, which workers hope will include plans to allow those in physically demanding jobs to retire earlier. Services in Amsterdam, The Hague, and Rotterdam will be impacted.
What do I always say?
Hey, you people.
Yeah, Paris. I find it fascinating how, the world over, people try to come together. Why can't we retain employees? You see it within the yachting industry. You see it everywhere. And it's obvious. It's so obvious. But I don't know. It's almost like the people in charge live in a bubble and they just can't see it for what it is. We're going to get a bonus of $5 million at the end of the year, but what's he complaining about? He's got a job. Doesn't matter that he doesn't make enough to pay his rent every year. He's got a job.
Yeah, that's right. And it normally ends up them paying anyway. He just prolongs the agony of everybody for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, and whether they think they can get them down a few more percent or whatever. But invariably, it does tend to resolve itself after the strike action. So everybody's impacted, not just the company, not just the workers, but the travelers as well. So yeah, it does seem odd.
I think we all are living straight across the face of the planet in a plutocracy, and this is modern day slavery. But that's just me. Moving on. Flights in Italy in an Italian airport, one Italian airport, have been canceled. Why is that?
They have. Flights in and out of Catania Airport in Sicily have been suspended due to twin volcanic eruptions. Services have either been cancelled or rerouted to Palermo or Comiso, according to the Foreign Office. Updated travel advice for Italy said, due to volcanic activity, local authorities have increased the alert levels for both Etna and Stromboli in the south of Italy. In the event of a volcanic eruption, follow the advice of local authorities. Now, arrivals and departures into Catania Airport are suspended, and if you are travelling to or from Catania, check with your travel provider or directly with the airport. EasyJet and Ryanair are among airlines forced to cancel flights That's according to the Airport Departure Board.
And Iberia Airlines have an announcement.
Yeah, they do, yeah. So Iberia have expanded the services offered through its WhatsApp channels for customers traveling to selected destinations. Passengers can now check in and obtain their boarding pass when flying on domestic services, as well as to European Schengen destinations, the UK, Ireland, Chile, Peru, and Uruguay. The WhatsApp channel also enables users to review their reservation details and receive notifications about their flights. And the carrier said that it will soon be possible to make payments through WhatsApp for services, including the purchase of additional luggage allowances. The airline has also added dedicated WhatsApp channels for Iberia Plus Platinum, Infinita, and Infinita Prime customers.
Nice. And the U.S. passport renewals are going to be getting a little bit easier.
Yeah, they are indeed. Renewing passports has become simpler for U.S. citizens if applicants meet the necessary requirements. They can renew their passport online by setting up a MyTravelGov account. And with a few clicks, applicants can fill out their application online and pay the renewal fees. Now, to meet the requirement, you will need a passport which is or was valid for 10 years, and you are aged 25 or older. The passport you're renewing was issued between 2009 and 2015, or over 9 years ago, but less than 15 years from the date you submitted your application. You cannot change your name, gender, date of birth, or place of birth online. You will not be able to travel internationally for at least 8 weeks from submitting your application. You have to apply for a regular passport. You have to be living in the United States, a state or territory. You have to have your passport on you and it's not damaged or mutilated. And if you pass all the criteria just mentioned, you can do the following steps. And that is create a MyTravelGov account at www.mytravel.state.gov, fill out the straightforward passport renewal application form, upload a digital photo, and pay for your passport renewal via either a debit or credit card. It is that simple, and the current wait time for US passport renewal is 6 to 8 weeks.
I like how they said it's very simple, and then they go on for half an hour telling you what you need to do, who can, who can't, and all the steps that are required.
Yeah, there's a few disclaimers in there, to be honest with you. But in all honesty, I think most people generally will be able to meet that criteria.
It only makes sense. I had to renew my passport, my Canadian passport, not too long ago, and it was a bit of a difficulty because the Canadian passports have a different size photo than every other passport on the face of the planet. So you have to go around and find a specific photo studio that can take that photograph and print out that photograph. Yeah, a lot of jumping around and a lot of moving around, or something that could be done fairly easily online with your phone camera.
That's right. Yeah. When I've done mine with the UK, I've used my phone camera and never had an issue, which is great and a lot easier. And cheap.
Yeah, with the Canadian passports, you can't do that because they actually have to have on the back of one of the photographs, you actually have to have the photo studio write their information and date it.
Yeah. It's a bit old fashioned, isn't it? Nowadays, they've got to get with the times a little bit.
Yeah, it's what it is. And Korean Air has some news.
Yeah, so Korean Air has introduced new cabin service procedures to address severe turbulence risks. The changes follow several airlines, including Korean Air, experiencing severe turbulence events that have resulted in injuries to people on board their aircraft. In a statement, Korean Air detailed that it would end cabin service on all medium and long-haul itineraries 40 minutes before landing. That's 20 minutes than previously. The airline noted that the change would allow flight attendants to wrap up their service before the aircraft begins its descent at its destination airport. The statement also went on to read, turbulence has become a persistent and growing problem in recent years, with the number of incidents doubling in the first quarter of 2024 compared to the first quarter of 2019. The turbulence is becoming more frequent, especially as the aircraft descends, and that's due to large temperature differences between altitudes. In addition, Korean Air reiterated that an aircraft passes an area of possible turbulence, the pilots will turn on the fasten seatbelt sign inside the cabin, prompting passengers to sit down at their seats and strap themselves in. The airline also reminded passengers that they must follow the flight crew's instructions and secure themselves in their seats. Now, Korean Airlines are the first airline to adapt their in-flight service due to the growing issue of turbulence, but we expect more to follow in the coming months.
Is that a result of climate change, do you think?
It is. I did read a report, and they have said it is due to climate change. There is, in the end, that they can see that the climate change is affecting the weather patterns in the sky, which also affects the temperature drops. It is going to become more frequent. It is going to become a little bit more. There's a certain name for it. I can't remember off the top of my head now, where it's almost like the blind turbulence, where they can't see it. And they said that is going to become more prevalent and relevant as well. So hence why Korean Air have already started to put in place changes to their in-flight procedures. And like I said, other airlines are going to have to follow. And what I would say to people is, even if the seatbelt sign isn't on when you're flying, if you're in your seat, put it on. It's just common sense.
I am a nervous Nelly flyer, period, anyway. So just that moment that a little bit of turbulence hits and you have that drop, it's almost like my heart jumps right out of my mouth. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not nice, is it? It's not a great feeling at all.
No, I'm going to be traveling via road in the future, I think, or via sea, because if that's the case of what's coming up, I'm not going to be getting on any airplanes aside from the ones I absolutely have to.
I think that's probably your safest bet.
So, and I want to let everybody out there know as well that Lee is open to answering all crew questions. So if you have a question for Lee, please do send it in. I have a feeling that for the next, the foreseeable future, you will be here every single Monday now that you're back in the UK, and we're not going to have any missing time frames where there's no Lee.
No, I will be here. The time works perfectly now. And like I said, we're only an hour apart, which makes it a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, I'll be here.
Wonderful. Lee, I want to say thank you once again for your valuable advice and insights.
No, thank you. It's been great to be back.
Yeah. You've been watching another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Rhea. I have been your host. We'll see you again next time.